My name is Emma. I am 29 years old. I live in the suburbs of New York City. It is a quiet place. There are trees, small shops, and friendly neighbors. I take the bus every day to work. I work in a bank office near the train station. It's not a big bank, but many people come every day. I sit at the front desk. My job is simple. I greet customers. I help them fill out forms. I give them information. Most days are the same. People walk in. People walk out. Some are nice. Some are in a hurry. I always smile. I am not married. Some people ask me, why not? I just say, I like being single. Most of my friends are married now. Some have children, but I don't feel bad. I feel fine. One day, a visitor came to my desk. He gave me some papers and smiled. Then he asked me, "Are you married?" I was surprised. I knew him. His name was Paul. He is the cousin of my friend Clara, and I knew he had a wife. So I smiled and said, "No, I'm single." He started to say something, but I quickly added, "I like being single. It's better for me." He didn't say anything else. He just smiled and left. After he left, I thought about it. Why do people ask women this question all the time? I don't ask people why they are married, so why ask me why I'm not? I looked around the office. Most of my coworkers were women. Some were older. Some were young and newly married. The men were all married too, except one. His name was Daniel. He worked in the loan department. He was 37 years old. He joined the bank last year. He was smart and friendly. He helped people. He made jokes during lunch. He always said, "Good morning," with a big smile. Daniel had no wedding ring. People said he was single. Some coworkers liked him. He was tall and strong. He wore nice shirts and clean shoes. He had a small house nearby, but he was still paying for it. We sometimes talked in the break room. It was just small talk. About coffee, about the weather, about the news. But he always listened. That made me feel good. Not many people really listen these days. One Friday, we had to stay late. A customer made a mistake on a loan form. I stayed to fix it. Daniel came to help me. It was quiet in the office. Most people had already gone home. The lights were low. We sat side by side, checking papers. After a while, he said, "Emma, can I tell you something?" I looked at him. "Sure." "I have a problem," he said. I waited. "I have trouble staying loyal in relationships." I didn't understand. "What do you mean?" He looked at the floor. "When I'm with someone, I keep talking to other women. I don't know why. I just do it." I blinked. I didn't know what to say. I felt cold. I asked, "Don't you care about the person you're with?" "I do care," he said. But after some time, I get bored. I always want something new. I felt shocked. I looked away. Then I said, "That's not right. If you are with someone, you should care only about them. It's not fair to hurt them." He looked at me and his voice was soft. "I know, but it's hard for me to change." We sat in silence. I looked out the window. It was already dark. The street was empty. The bus stop was quiet. I didn't know what to say. Part of me felt sorry for him. Another part of me felt angry. I wanted to help, but I didn't know how. Later that week, I asked him more. I said, "You said you were in a relationship before. What happened?" He said, "I lived with a woman named Linda. She was 46 years old. She had 4 kids. 4 kids? I asked. Yes, he said. 3 kids with one man, 1 with another. But she and I didn't have children together. How long were you together? 10 years, he said. We even bought a house together. I was surprised. Did she leave you? Yes, he said. She sold her part of the house and left. Why did she leave? I asked. He didn't answer. Then I asked slowly, was it because you talked to other women? He looked at me. His eyes were wide. He didn't speak. But I saw the truth in his face. That was the reason. She left because he broke her trust. I felt something inside me turn cold. I said quietly, "You hurt her. You only think about yourself." He looked away. He didn't reply. After that, things changed. He stopped talking to me. He walked past my desk without saying hello. He started asking other people for help. I felt sad. I didn't try to speak to him again. I thought maybe he just needed time. But I also felt that he didn't want to change. He didn't want to hear the truth. Before I share the rest of my story, I want to ask you something. Where are you listening from? It gives me strength to know someone is hearing my words. Someone who understands. Please tell me in the comments. I would really love to know. After that day, things changed at work. Daniel didn't talk to me anymore. Before, he used to smile. He used to ask how my day was. Now, he walked past me like I wasn't there. He talked to other people. He laughed with them. But when I walked into the room, he went quiet. It felt strange. I didn't do anything wrong. I only told him the truth. But maybe the truth hurt. Maybe he didn't want to hear it. Or maybe he just wanted someone who stayed quiet and said nothing. At first, I felt sad. I liked talking to him. I thought we were friends. But now I saw him differently. He didn't want to change. He didn't care how others felt. He only cared about himself. Weeks passed. Spring turned into summer. The days got longer. The sun was warm. At work, everything was the same. I sat at my desk, helped customers, and smiled. But inside, I felt tired. One afternoon, Clara, my old friend, came to visit me at the bank. She gave me a hug and said, "Let's have lunch this weekend." I smiled. Yes, I would like that. We met at a small cafe on Saturday. It was sunny. We sat outside and ordered sandwiches and iced tea. We talked about work, books, and old memories. Then Clara said, "Do you know Daniel?" I froze for a second. "Yes," I said slowly. "He works at my office." She laughed. "I met him last week at a birthday party. He was with a woman. I think she is his girlfriend now." "Oh," I said. I didn't know what else to say. "She's very pretty," Clara added. "Young too. Maybe 24 or 25. I looked down at my glass. I didn't say anything. Clara looked at me. "Did you ever like him?" I was quiet. Then I said, "I thought he was a good person, but I don't think that anymore." I didn't tell Clara everything. I didn't tell her about his words, his past, or the way he acted. It was too heavy, and I didn't want to talk about him anymore. But after that lunch, I kept thinking, why do people pretend to be kind when they are not? Why do they hide their real face? Why do they break hearts and walk away like nothing happened? One morning at work, I saw Daniel and his new girlfriend outside the building. She was waiting for him. She wore a red dress and held his hand. He looked happy. When he walked past me later, I said, "Is that your girlfriend?" He smiled and said, "Yes." "Is she nice?" I asked. "She is very nice," he replied. I looked at him and asked, "Are you going to treat her the same way you treated the others?" His face changed. His smile became smaller. He didn't answer, but I could see something in his eyes. Maybe he was angry. Maybe he thought I was judging him. Maybe he didn't care at all. I felt sad. Not because I loved him. I didn't. But I felt sad for the girl. She didn't know the truth. She only saw the outside. The jokes. The smile. The help. But she didn't see the other side. The cold side. The selfish side. I wanted to tell her. I wanted to warn her. But I didn't. Because it was not my place. People must learn on their own. After that day, I stopped thinking about Daniel. I focused on myself. I started reading more. I joined a painting class on Saturdays. I visited my parents every Sunday. I took long walks after work. I listened to music and cooked new food. I felt better. I felt free. One Friday evening, my manager asked me to help with a new project. It was about helping young people open their first bank accounts. I worked with a small team. One of them was a man named Josh. Josh was 32. He was quiet and kind. He listened more than he spoke. He liked numbers and tea. He was different from Daniel. He didn't try to impress anyone. He was just himself. We worked together for 3 weeks. Sometimes we talked about simple things. He asked me, "Do you like dogs or cats?" I said, "Cats." I have one named Momo." He smiled and said, "That's a nice name." One day, he brought me a small cup of green tea. He said, "You always drink coffee. Try this for a change." I laughed. "Okay." I tried it. It was nice. He smiled and said, "See? Not everything new is bad." I looked at him. That line stayed in my heart. Not everything new is bad. It made me think, maybe not all men are like Daniel. Maybe some people are honest. Maybe some people really care. But I also knew something else. I had changed. I was not the same Emma anymore. I used to hope someone would come and make me feel special. Now, I wanted to make myself feel special. I liked my own company. I liked my tea, my music, my quiet life. I didn't want drama. I didn't want lies. I didn't want someone who smiled but didn't mean it. The days passed quietly. It was now early autumn. The trees turned orange and yellow. The air felt cool in the mornings. People started wearing jackets. School buses came again. Everything felt calm and peaceful. At work, things were better. The project with Josh ended, but we still talked sometimes. He once said, "It's nice working with someone who thinks before they speak." I smiled. It was a small compliment, but it meant a lot to me. Daniel was still at the bank. He didn't speak to me much anymore. We were just coworkers now. I no longer felt anything when I saw him. No sadness, no anger, just quiet. One afternoon, I saw Daniel and his girlfriend again. This time, they were not smiling. They stood near the parking lot, arguing. I didn't hear the words, but I saw her face. She looked hurt. He looked tired. I walked away. That evening, I sat in my small apartment. I made tea. Momo, my cat, jumped into my lap. I looked out the window and watched the wind move the trees. I felt peaceful. I thought about the last year. So much had changed. Not outside, but inside me. I used to think love would fix my life. I thought one person could make everything better. But now, I knew something else. Peace comes when you stop chasing the wrong things. I didn't want someone who made me feel small. I didn't want someone who looked for new faces while holding my hand. I wanted honesty, kindness, patience. And if I didn't find those things in someone else, that was okay, because I found them in myself. One Sunday, I went to visit my parents. They lived 20 minutes away. My mom made soup. My dad read the newspaper. We sat together on the porch. My mother asked, "Are you seeing anyone these days?" I smiled. "No, Mom." She looked at me and said gently, "Are you happy?" I looked at the trees. I looked at the sky. "Yes," I said. "I am happy." She reached for my hand and held it. "You are strong," she said. "Always remember that." I didn't speak. I just smiled. My heart felt full. The next week, Clara called. She said, "Emma, do you want to go to the city this weekend?" I said, "Sure." We took the train to Manhattan. We walked in Central Park. We drank coffee from a street cart. We took photos. We laughed. I felt young again. Clara said, "You look good. Like you're glowing." "I feel light," I said. Like I let go of something heavy. That night, I went home and looked at myself in the mirror. I saw a woman who learned how to love her own company. I saw a woman who didn't need to chase someone who couldn't love her back. I saw a woman who chose peace. A few weeks later, Josh invited me to a museum. He said, "There's a new art show. Would you like to come?" I said yes. We spent 2 hours looking at paintings and talking. He didn't try to be someone else. He didn't try to impress me. He was just kind. He listened. He laughed softly. He asked about my cat again. When we walked out of the museum, the sun was setting. He said, "Emma, you're different. You're calm. You know what you want." I smiled. It took time to learn. He didn't try to hold my hand. He didn't talk about love. And I liked that. It was simple. That night I wrote in my notebook, "I am not waiting anymore. I am not hoping someone will change. I am not afraid to be alone. I am free. Maybe one day I will meet someone who shares my peace. Maybe I won't. But now, I know I will be okay." The girl who waited for someone to be honest. She has now become the woman who is honest with herself, and that is enough. Thank you for listening to my story. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you find your peace too.